Russia's global military ranking has long puzzled analysts and observers, especially when compared to China's modernizing and expansive forces. The comparison is particularly stark when considering the visible state of both countries' naval fleets, air power, and defense innovation. While China has launched multiple aircraft carriers and advanced warships in recent years, Russia's only carrier, the Admiral Kuznetsov, remains docked and heavily damaged. Nevertheless, Russia continues to occupy the second spot on many global military rankings, ahead of China. What explains this apparent contradiction? To understand this disparity, one must examine not just the visible military hardware, but also the underlying logic of strategic power projection, legacy capabilities, and global influence. One of the most decisive factors in military rankings is nuclear capability. Russia's position as the world's largest nuclear power, possessing approximately 5,488 warheads, forms the backbone of its military status. This extensive arsenal represents a core element of global deterrence, maintaining a balance of power through sheer potential devastation. Russia's nuclear strategy is rooted in a triad structure: intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs), submarine-launched ballistic missiles (SLBMs), and strategic bombers. The development of weapons such as the Sarmat ICBM, reportedly capable of carrying multiple independently targeted warheads, exemplifies Russia's focus on maintaining a credible deterrent. Similarly, the Avangard hypersonic glide vehicle, which travels at speeds exceeding Mach 20, is designed to bypass existing missile defense systems. The Poseidon underwater drone, capable of triggering underwater nuclear detonations, highlights Russia's commitment to developing non-conventional strike platforms. These weapons reinforce Russia's global deterrence posture. Despite the obsolescence in many conventional domains, such strategic systems ensure that Russia remains a major power in global military balance sheets. Russia's surface fleet has experienced a sharp decline in capability since the Cold War. Its once formidable navy now consists of many aging platforms. The Kuznetsov aircraft carrier has spent the last several years under repair, with multiple delays due to accidents, lack of funding, and deteriorating shipyard capacity. Cruisers like the Pyotr Veliky, Peter the Great, and Admiral Nakhimov remain symbols of past might, but they are plagued by limited operational readiness. The sinking of the Moskva cruiser during the Russia-Ukraine conflict further exposed weaknesses in air defense systems and naval survivability. Destroyers and frigates form the backbone of modern navies, but Russia's production of new vessels has been limited. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia has only produced around 20 modern frigates, while China has built dozens, including the advanced Type 054A and Type 055 classes. China's naval expansion, supported by a growing domestic shipbuilding industry, continues at a pace unmatched by Russia. China's navy is now the world's largest by ship count and second by tonnage, and it has begun transitioning from regional to global blue water operations. In contrast, Russia's naval strategy is increasingly confined to near-sea defense, with few assets capable of sustained global deployment. The gap between Russian and Chinese air power is equally significant. Russia's Su-57 fifth-generation stealth fighter, still in limited production, has yet to be deployed in significant numbers. Current estimates place the total number of Su-57s at under 20, far from forming an effective operational fleet. China, meanwhile, has fielded over 300 J-20 stealth fighters and is rapidly integrating advanced support aircraft such as the KJ-600 early warning system. These developments suggest a sophisticated air combat ecosystem with integrated command and control, real-time data sharing, and long-range strike capability. Additionally, China's drone capabilities have surpassed Russia's in scale, quality, and integration. While Russian drones used in Ukraine have been criticized for makeshift construction and commercial components, China has developed a full spectrum of unmanned aerial systems, including high-altitude reconnaissance platforms and armed drones with global reach. Russia's ground forces have suffered extensive losses in the ongoing conflict with Ukraine. The war has revealed operational and logistical shortcomings, including outdated command structures, poor equipment maintenance, and heavy casualties. Russian forces have resorted to deploying older T-62 tanks, relics of the Soviet era, to fill battlefield gaps. In contrast, the Chinese military has focused on modernization, integrating advanced battle networks and robotics into its force structure. Chinese armored brigades are now equipped with third-generation tanks such as the Type 99A and advanced support units, including unmanned ground vehicles. However, one factor often cited in Russia's favor is combat experience. Despite losses, Russian forces have accumulated operational knowledge through conflicts in Georgia, Syria, and Ukraine. Military ranking systems often assign value to this experience, sometimes up to 15% of the total score. Whether this outweighs the disadvantages of outdated equipment and flawed logistics remains a matter of debate. A critical dimension of military strength lies in sustainability and funding. Russia currently spends approximately 12% of its GDP on defense, a heavy burden that affects domestic stability. Inflation in Russia has soared, with basic food prices nearly doubling in the last year. Military spending at such high levels strains long-term economic capacity. By comparison, China allocates around 1.7% of its GDP to defense, a smaller percentage but with a far larger GDP. This allows China to support one of the world's most ambitious naval shipbuilding programs while maintaining domestic stability and technological investment. Russia's military industry, particularly in shipbuilding, continues to face challenges stemming from the post-Soviet industrial collapse. Many critical components are produced outside of Russia, in former Soviet republics or foreign countries. Even the ability to manufacture specialized steel plates for ship hulls has diminished. In contrast, Chinese military industries have become largely self-sufficient, with rapid innovation cycles and global supply chain integration. Russia's diplomatic environment has become increasingly strained. The war in Ukraine has significantly isolated Moscow, with several traditional allies distancing themselves. Countries such as Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan have opted not to support Russian actions in Ukraine, while others like Azerbaijan have aligned more closely with Turkey and NATO. This isolation hampers Russia's ability to coordinate regionally or attract advanced military technologies through partnerships. While China has also faced geopolitical tension, it has maintained stable diplomatic and trade ties with many global players, allowing continued access to international technology and resources. Strategically, China is shifting toward global naval presence and overseas bases, while Russia is retreating to regional defense postures. This divergence marks a long-term trend where Russia's influence narrows while China's expands. Ranking methodologies, nuclear weight and perception. Military rankings are not objective truths. They reflect weighted scoring systems based on perceived priorities. Organizations often assign significant weight, up to 25%, to nuclear weapons, which naturally benefits Russia. Actual combat experience and military history are also factored in, further boosting Russia's standing despite its present struggles. Meanwhile, China's advanced missile systems, such as the DF-26, which can target naval assets over long distances, are often classified as defensive within these frameworks. This underplays their strategic importance in power projection, particularly in the Pacific. Furthermore, political considerations can influence how rankings are presented. Western policymakers may emphasize Russia's threat to maintain NATO unity, while avoiding overtly designating China as the primary global adversary. This balance serves diplomatic aims, but can distort public perceptions of military capability. As Russia's military shifts focus to near-sea defense and land operations in Eastern Europe, its capacity to project global power continues to erode. Aircraft carrier development has stalled indefinitely, and future modernization projects remain uncertain due to limited funding and technological hurdles. China, in contrast, is accelerating efforts to build a true blue-water navy. Its fourth aircraft carrier, expected to be nuclear-powered, is already under construction. Submarine technology continues to improve, with noise reduction levels reportedly reaching below 95 decibels in the latest models, making them harder to detect than even U.S. Ohio-class boats. With mass production of modern fighters, amphibious assault ships, and advanced surveillance systems, China is positioning itself as a global maritime power. Russia's military ranking may appear strong on paper, but it increasingly relies on its nuclear arsenal and historical weight. The realities of its conventional forces tell a different story, one of decline, industrial stagnation, and regional retrenchment. China, though officially ranked third in many global assessments, is rapidly transforming its forces into a modern, integrated, and technologically advanced military machine. Its capacity to sustain long-term growth, combined with expanding global ambitions, is reshaping the strategic balance in the Indo-Pacific and beyond. The gap between Russia's symbolic strength and China's practical capability continues to widen. In the years ahead, the world may need to reevaluate not just who ranks where, but why.